Well, for 2013, there really isn't a lot of difference in my display. I had the same cutouts that I made, the same arches, the same spiral trees. The only thing really different is that pixel tree in the back, and there's some videos up already which show how that works. But everything else is pretty much the same. So there's really not a lot of new items here. Here's the my figurines, my princesses, my Mickey and Minnie, Snoopy in the back, Sleeping Beauty and her fairies, Ariel, and then Flounder and Sebastian and Scuttles up there, Snow White and her dwarfs. For any of you that may have not seen a previous video of my setup, I wanted to kind of make this real quick, just to show you. The house has 6 sections of light that are all 4 colors: red, green, white, and blue. The roof has 3 sections of red, white, green, and blue, and then the very peak is just a pure white, and then the icicles are pure white. In the yard, I have controllers that control various aspects, from the poles there. There's 30 circuits on that one there, so it's 2 controllers just for that. The spiral trees have I need 2 controllers for that. There's 32 channels right there: 8 red, 8 green, 8 blue, and 8 white. But I have cables that tie these together, so both these spiral trees run off the same circuit. I might get a couple controllers and separate them. There's a couple things I can do with sequencing it better if I had them separated, because right now they basically go on at the same time. So I might do that later. But that's how I control both of these. The arches are 4 arches, 8 channels each, which is 32 channels. The tree has red, green, and blue, and white. There's these snow tubes this year and last year, and then I have my tree, it has the white. Over here I have the mega tree, which has 12 channels per color: red, green, white, and blue, and has 2 inner channels. It looks like a small inner white tree, a medium inner white tree, and then an upper white tree. And then the angel is on its own channel. I have a fan up there, which I'm thinking right now that fan might be a good choice for an RGB next year. So I may actually end up doing that. I gotta look at it. Those pixels I got from Ray were pretty bad, so I may take them off of the pixel tree I made and use them for that arch instead. My Mickey is right here. I moved him over this year, so he could be seen better. I used to have him over here by the garage, so now I moved him over here. The Mickey arch goes across the driveway, and of course there's 16 of them, so that's 16 channels. I have a couple, these twig trees, and there's my pixel tree. There's 1,200 nodes. There's 12 strands of 50 on one side, 12 strands of 50 on the other side. So that makes 1,200 nodes, and the controllers for that are underneath. And then I have my yard signs that I do, and they're also controlled by the controllers. I plug in the Malibu lights, and I control those with the controllers as well. And then my border around the house. This border around my yard is meant to keep people out. A couple of years ago, I had to extend this taller because I found people going over it to get in the yard to do things like take pictures with the princesses, or I don't know what they're doing. But with all these cables running through the wires, through the grass, you sure don't want people walking around your yard. So I raised that to keep them out of there. The mini trees, there's 8 of them. And they are also red, white, green, and blue. And then I have my strobes are in 6 different sections. The tree here on the side of the house, that section, this tree, and then this tree over here. so I can sweep across and have the strobes go off in a sequence if I want to. The only one I do that with is World of Color. I don't do it with the other ones. But it helps separate the power load by not having them all on one thing. And then on the roof I have my snowmen and the balls that they throw back and forth at each other. Here's the pixel tree. They're 3 inches from the bottom, and they go up to 1.5 inches apart at the top. So it's 3 inches at the bottom, 1.5 inches at the top. The spacing on the bulbs are 2.5 inches, and that came up because it's a 10-foot tree, and I put 50 bulbs on each section. So 10 foot divided by 50 is 2.5 inches. Down here is where the E682 controller is. Over here is where my 2 power supplies are. This, you don't even really see this from the street because it's a white wall and a white board, but this is where my Walt Disney World castle's at. And then I have Tinkerbell. This is Tinkerbell here with her wand out. And then I have 3 other Tinkerbells. One here, one there, and one there. And the idea was to make it look like she was flying around the house. And when she got to the other end of the house, she got into this position, which is the position you always see when she does her wand and has the magic go. And this is inside of my garage. This is the state of my garage, and it's pretty much been the state of my garage since I started putting the lights up. Managed just to get the stuff out, and then kind of sort of put away, but not really. I spent a lot of time this year having to fix pixels, so you can see I had to keep my wire cutters and my shrink gun, heat gun, and my solder iron and my shrink tubes available because I was fixing pixels a lot. There's the computer that I run it with. Then here's my power center. Well, I don't know if I showed you guys this before, but before I would have all the controllers go into here, or I would have a extension cord that had multiple outlets out in the yard and plug them into there individually. Well, 2 years ago I decided I wanted to have more control over that. So, and I've only got X amount of plugs here. I have 30 amps right there. I have 30 amps right there. I have 20 amps on that plug, and I have 20 amps on that plug, which gives me a total of 100 amps, maxed out, of course. So what I did is I made this box last year, I believe it was, and because I wanted to be able to have the controllers, if one tripped out a GFI, I would be able to keep the rest of the show going, maybe not even notice it. So what I did was I ran 6 cords over there. The 220 amps have 4 plugs on it here, so both those are 220 amp services, and then the 15 amps are these ones on the side here. And these are all GFI, so if one trips off, the rest of the show keeps going. And you see I actually have room for a couple more controllers. Not much more, but for a couple more controllers. This one here, this timer is for my new pixel tree. I didn't want to leave that thing on all the time, so what I do is I have it set with a timer. So it goes off at midnight or 11:30, and it comes on at 5:15 just before the show starts. So that the power supplies aren't sitting there all day running and cooking, and the and the E682 always charged up. So I shut it off during the day. The rest of the controllers go all the time. I don't shut them off at all. So now, and from there, I just take the cords, come into all 19 controllers, and they go up, and they go over, down into the yard, and I have some of them that come up through here, and go down to the bottom, over into the yard. I have some of them that go up this way, into controllers. I have 2 controllers up under here. And then cords that go over my trailer, and in the front of the trailer I have 4 controllers that control the Mega Tree over there, and then I also have a couple controllers here. Okay. The rest of the controllers are all out in the yard, and all out in the yards, and like I say, they all have their own individual cords. So I just thought I'd like to show you guys that. Thanks.